Yeah, some things disappoint me, and some things disappoint me when I think I know otherwise, but people just constantly keep picking away at something, and if you say it enough, you believe it. Hey, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? Thanks for checking out this video. Support for the channel is awesome, and I want to talk about the moon landing. Yes, landing on the moon, Neil Armstrong, fact or fake? Well, it's not even so much that it's either going to be a fake, a hoax, or if it really happened. It's kind of where are we at as a country? Where are we at to where most of the people think that was fake? Now, just a little bit of a background. I've kind of touched on this before, but my father worked for NASA. I think the company was ILS that he worked for. And he had personal relationships with many of the famous people that were dealing with NASA and the astronauts and stuff like that. I'm not going to say that information I get is any more correct than other information out there, but I don't feel that my dad had a reason to lie to me about his work whatsoever at all. It was something he was proud of. He went from the military to NASA to a company called Bechtel, which he ended up overseeing the building of nuclear power plants all around the world. You don't get into that position without having some credentials ahead of time. So yeah, he had very good credentials at NASA and left with honors, to say the least. The only reason he left is they were canceling, after Apollo 17, they were canceling it, looking at a new program, which ended up being shuttle, but a lot of people got laid off out of there. Same thing happened with the shuttle program. Once the shuttle stopped, there's a lot of places around Kennedy Space Center that became ghost towns. But so many people don't believe that we went to the moon. And not even just landing on the moon, I mean, none of the missions. People think the whole Apollo program was a hoax and a fake. You know, it was filmed in Hollywood and out in the New Mexico desert or whatever. Now, if you go back to 1970, 1972, something like that, and if you were to say you didn't believe that Armstrong landed on the moon, and the United States didn't get to the moon before Russia did, and all this stuff, yeah, you were looked down upon pretty well. That was a huge patriotic thing for this country. It was big for the whole world. There were people all around the globe watching that moment on TV. Just the fact that everybody, not everybody, but so many people think that that was all fake just kind of blows my mind, and it shows that we're over the curve. The people, the lower people, I should say, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but not the people that are in upper military or NASA or anything like that, just the civilians and the everyday blue-collar thinkers. Pretty much ever since they got a little tiny hole in a story or something that happened landing on the moon, as soon as they get a little tiny hole in there, they get in there, wiggle in, and try to justify their case that it didn't happen. Once you do that over and over and over, since, well, 1970 or so is when it all started, especially with the Vietnam War, the whole big conspiracy theory kind of started into that. I know there's other instances, and it started before that, but Vietnam was a big one. That was a big movement of conspiracy theorists that came in, and it just put fuel on the fire for the moon landing. And still to this day, on my YouTube feed, I get it at least once a month. Was the moon landing real? You know, take the little survey. Fake, don't care, you know, whatever. You know the surveys people put up on YouTube. And it's usually 50-50 or better. Sean Ryan just put one out, and it's sitting right at 50-50, which is mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing that people don't believe that we went to the moon. Now, could it be a hoax? Yeah, sure. Could the truck that I drive every day be a hologram? Absolutely. Yeah, why can't it? You know, there's always a way to get in to justify something not being real or a fake or anything like that. Back in the 70s, we were a very strong nation. That's when we took over the world currency and we became the United States that we are. Actually, in the 90s, at the end of the Cold War, upped it again. You know, and it's sequential, all the way from the Revolutionary War, Civil War, all the way up. You know, we've just been continuously getting more and more powerful. Everything that has happened pretty much since the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and stuff like that, the innovation and the advancements that our country does is amazing. It's mind-blowing. Skyscrapers, computers, microchips, AI, all these huge world-changing things, for the most part, come out of the United States. Now, we should be proud of that. We should be proud of it. Being that we are not proud of that, we realize things aren't right. Things are worse than we always expected. Growing up in the 80s and the 90s, even a little bit of the 70s for me, and some of you guys back to the 50s. We've kind of gotten over that hump, being that we just don't have faith in our country. We don't have faith in our government, which is something that popped up around the 70s. We question everything, and of course, us as preppers, we are preppers because we question things, because we're not trusting our government, we're not trusting our media. So that's even adding fuel to the whole conspiracy theory thing. But just being that we don't have faith in our country shows that our country is no longer rising. Our country is no longer getting powerful. In fact, we're on a decline of power. We're on a decline of economics. We're on a decline of about everything that made our country powerful and possible is all on the decline. And just looking at how people react and how passionate they are about things like this, that we can't possibly be that smart. Like a lot of people with the moon landing, they say, you know, we can't even get, you know, proper logistics across the world, or we can't even, you know, get people that were stranded at the space station for 10 months. You know, we can't do these things, but oh, we can get a man on the moon. We have all these computers. And back when we put somebody on the moon, what was it, 1969? We basically had no computers. Everything was extremely simple. And how could that be possible? How can we navigate through the radiation fields in space and do all these things? And there's a simple answer for that. There's a simple complication to that: math. That's it. If you know your numbers, you run your numbers multiple times, and it all comes out to be the exact same thing. We didn't need the computers. We had extremely smart people working on the job. We have had extremely smart people in positions that matter for the whole life of our country up till recently. Now it's idiocracy. I watch Trump on the news and I just laugh. I mean, yeah, he's getting some things done, he's messing up some things, and he's avoiding some things, but our politics have just been so disgraceful, and it's ran into the media. There's people using curse words on the 6 o'clock news now. That should not be. Maybe it's just my opinion, but that shouldn't be that way. And why is it that way? Well, nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. Everything has just become out of control. Nobody believes anything. And I get it. It's kind of hard to believe things. I blame a lot of the media for that. They scramble everything up and give us the information they want to perceive to the viewers. I get all that. I get all that. It wasn't so the case back in the late 60s. The news was news. Yeah, there was maybe a little propaganda, but we just reported and did journalistic work. We don't do that anymore. We don't do it at all. So I do kind of get why everybody thinks that the moon landing was fake. It wasn't fake, folks. I mean, take a little pride in your country. it's an easy one because nobody could see it with their own eyes. So it's easy to say it didn't happen, but yeah, we're going to have a little faith in our country, and we're going to have to believe in what this country does and what this country stands for. But I just kind of wanted to bring that up. If you guys, are subscribed to Sean Ryan and you guys saw that post, I definitely, put my 2 words in on that. But I see this a lot. I see it a lot, and I see a lot of conspiracy theories going around. Some of them I'm kind of on board with, and some of them not so much. But this is just kind of one of those things. These are the things that I think about when I just pick up my phone and I happen to kick onto YouTube to find out what was going on with, whatever's going on in the world. And I come across stuff like this, and it just kind of saddens me. Really great times are slowly getting destroyed by our society. And this was a political thing. The left have been doing it with our statues. The left have been doing it with, history around the Civil War and stuff like that. And, well, the right and the Republicans are doing it with conspiracy theories, saying this isn't legit. And it goes for quite a few things that have happened in history. And a lot of people in this realm, this bubble that we're in here, are kind of trying to discredit things that happened in the past in the history of our country, in the history of our politics, the history of our military. Embrace it, just embrace it. Be glad that we did it. We've done many more amazing things far beyond that since then, and nobody really questions those for now. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of touch on that, be a little patriotic, believe in our country, especially in the things that we did as a country when we were great, because those are going to be the good memories we're going to reflect back on. That's it. Those are the memories we're going to reflect back on, because we're never going to get there again. I think we're going to stay afloat, maybe close, best case scenario, or the country's on its way down. So, yeah, I was just thinking about that. Wanted to kind of touch on it. Tell me what you guys think about it. And, yeah, I'll leave it with that. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys next time. All right. See you then. Peace.